Let's talk about ambient light and how to take advantage of it in your photography. Ambient simply means referring to something's immediate surroundings. Ambient light is referring to the light that is already present in a scene without adding any artificial light. So right now I don't have any lights turned on in the building. All the light is coming through the window from outside. So you have ambient light opposed to artificial light. Now let's talk about a few of my favorite ways to harness ambient light and make it look good in your photos. Because if you just go outside, look directly into the sun, and take a picture of your face, probably isn't going to be the best photo ever. I'm not saying there's not situations where it might work out, but for the most part, that doesn't work out. So how do you craft the light? Because when you're working with artificial light, you can move the lights in relation to your subject. When you're working with ambient light, you have to do the opposite. You have to move your subject, you have to move your camera in relation to the sun so that you can mold and shape the light and add depth to your photo. That's my goal always when I'm thinking about lighting, how it's set up, which direction it's coming in from. It's all about shaping the light and adding depth to the photo. We want to add separation to the elements in the photo, the background versus the foreground versus the subject of your photo, and how the light's bouncing off that is either going to make the photo look really flat and boring, or you can add depth by having light coming in from different directions, how it's hitting. Even right now, notice how I have a lot of light shining on the left side of my face. It's darker on the right side of my face, but there's still light back here, and then it's extra bright over here. All of these different elements are adding depth to the photo and overall just making it look good. Now this is just one example right now that I can show you right off the bat, but I want to step you through a whole bunch of different ideas of things that you could use. Just keep in mind that photography is always part scientific and a lot of art. So what I'm going to show you will hopefully just give you ideas of something you can do. And then once you go out and shoot it, obviously you're going to make little adjustments and tweaks depending on where you're shooting, what the subject is, and it's going to become your own art. But here's just a couple quick tips that I like to use all the time that are really easy. And again, we're working with ambient light, so it doesn't take any extra equipment, no lighting equipment. Just going to show you how to take advantage of that sunlight the best. Now before we go anywhere else, I just wanted to show you a little bit more about the shot that I'm filming right now. I've got the camera set up here, got the window, the sun coming through the window, but it's not direct sunlight. The sun is actually over there. It's shining over onto the mountains and onto the blue sky, and then that's reflecting back through this window. So it's sunlight, but it's indirect sunlight. And this is my favorite kind of lighting. I want to show you how bad this same setup would look if we had direct sunlight coming through the window. So over here we have a window with the sun actually shining directly through it. You can see the sun here, and here it is. Same similar setup with the window here, but instead of indirect sunlight we have direct sunlight actually blasting through the window and just blowing everything apart, making it look terrible. And back to this shot, just looks so much better having the indirect sunlight. Now when I am shooting indirect sunlight, I like to put the sun in the photo. As you can see, it's right here. And then move in front of the sun and have it behind your subject. This creates a really nice light line around your subject that makes them sort of pop off the background and gives a lot of depth and mood to the photo. I see a lot of amateurs being like, oh, you can't have the sun in the photo because it'll create a silhouette and then you can't see the people's faces. And this is just because they don't know how to use the manual settings on their cameras, and so they're ending up with photos like this, and they're like, well, that's not gonna work. And so instead they'll turn their subject around and have them facing directly into the sun, and they'll end up having photos like this, which look really bad for a couple of reasons. For one, the person has to be squinting because the sun's shining in their eyes unless they have sunglasses on. Also, there's so much light just hitting everything in the photo that it creates a very flat photo. There's no separation between me and the background. So definitely just learn how to use a couple simple manual settings on your camera so you can compensate for that bright light in the background, and this is going to end up looking so much better having your subject backlit like this. Another great lighting situation is when it is overcast outside. So the sun is behind the clouds. The clouds are acting like a giant diffuser, just casting the light in every which direction. There's really no harsh shadows anywhere. The lighting is going to be even across people's faces no matter which direction you're looking. This is something that makes every wedding photographer really happy because they can shoot looking in any direction and it looks absolutely amazing no matter where you look. So it definitely has a certain style to it, like I was just showing earlier with this picture. There's a lot of mood in that photo, and then you come back to this overcast lighting and there's not really as much mood, but you can definitely have a lot of detail and see what's going on in the photo. So I particularly like this when I'm shooting food photography. Just take the food outside, set it up on a picnic table or something, and shoot that food. And like I was saying, it just keeps the lighting really even. The one problem with filming on overcast days is that you have no control over the weather, so you're not necessarily going to have an overcast day when you want one. However, you will get similar results filming in the morning before the sun comes up or in the evening right after it goes down, but you will be limited in the time span you have to shoot. Are you using a VPN to keep your information safe while browsing the internet? He wasn't. PureVPN. It's worth looking into. Link in the description below. Now, when you don't have the luxury of an overcast day and the sun's high up in the sky, 3 things I'm going to recommend. One is turn away from the sun. So right now it's back here. I have it behind my head. It's backlighting like I was showing before. Or you can turn and get it to where the sun's lighting basically half of your face. The third thing I'm going to recommend is to seek out some shade. Even if it's just the shade of a building, I'm going to head over to this patch of shade right here. Now, when you are filming in the shade, make sure you're not doing what I'm doing right now, and that is that the background isn't shaded. Instead, I would turn and have the house as the backdrop, so it's also shaded as well, and that's why we have a nice even lighting across the photo. Just earlier today, I was taking some pictures of some donuts and coffee, and I did it in this patch of shade here being cast from my house. And I just wanted to show you those real quick. This is what it looks like when I was taking the photos in the shade. And then here it is, I moved it out into the direct sunlight. Pretty drastic difference. There's always something new to be learned about photography. There's always something new you can learn about photography lighting, which is exactly why I'll be doing more videos about this subject in the future. I'll see you guys in the next video.